Alright, so this one, what we're gonna do on this floor is I'm gonna show you a little bit of the power of Machinist. Now, I would recommend you kind of go through this floor slow, but we're gonna go through this floor a little faster just to show you what Machinist can pull off, because this will also help me in terms of leveling. This set of floors can get a little bit difficult killing everything, because this is actually one of the biggest jumps in difficulty. You'll feel a big jump from 1 to 20 and then to this floor. Enemies will be a little bit tougher, so on and so forth. But we're gonna do a little bit of craziness, and this will be more of a showcase of what Machinist can do. If you're confident in doing it, go ahead. If not, I do recommend you going through this floor slow and just managing it that way, okay? So we are going to do a couple big pulls, and we're going to rely on spread shot for that too. So you're going to see what we can do on Machinist. Stupid owls. And the owls do suck. That's a good song. Now, is this floor a small floor or a big floor? I'm also going to use an affluence here. It looks like a small floor, so I'm going to just kill for now and check the other room. Gotta watch for those blaze spikes, that could really hurt, which it is. Okay, it is a big room. So I'm going to sights. Awesome. Alright, so we're gonna backtrack a little bit. That's a landmine, so also this gives me a chance to show you the trap. So that is a landmine. Also, that is a landmine next to a wall. That's nice. I'm not familiar with that trap. There's a landmine next to the wall. Alright, so I'm gonna shank, I'm gonna steal. So you guys are gonna see kind of the fun part of Machinist right now. We're gonna run and gun. A joke I'll make is, if you're a Machinist and you stop moving, you're dead. So don't stop moving, guys. So we're actually gonna pull a lot of things at once. I shank stealed for this. We should be fine. But we will also be using some sustaining potions here, so we're gonna take advantage of our healing potions to kind of help us with this adventure, okay? Now, one of the really cool things that we can do with Machinist is Spread Shot. Spread Shot allows me to DPS kind of a little bit on a decent range, but in a pretty far manner. So I can run with these enemies while doing Spread Shot as they're kind of getting closer and closer. So we are just going to be chipping away at these things while kiting. This, by the way, is a specialty of Machinist, because I think maybe Bard can also do this. Dancer can't, because Dancer's AoE is going to be around itself versus the target. You could probably do this on a couple other jobs, but you certainly can't do this on, say, a red mage. So we are just kiting, moving, and we're killing things on the run, no problem. We did use a couple sustaining to keep us up, but everything is dead. So there you go. That's one thing, and we'll do this for the entire floor, because like I said, this is kind of the middle set. So we're gonna start to get getting closer and closer to cap in terms of our level. So this is a good opportunity to make sure the level is somewhat high, because then after the next set of floors will be 60 already. So getting a little bit higher in XP here can be very beneficial. Unfortunately, we did not get a land. Oh, I'm gonna kill this on purpose. Unfortunately, we did not get a luring trap. I didn't see one anyway. Okay. That's why I didn't do Machinist, because I kept dying at floor 25. It's the level, though. You have to watch the level. I've seen it. When I watched a couple streamers and stuff doing their runs, their level disparity is so low. And I also opened with a Shank Steel, so bear that in mind as well. But, okay, this one. Just kill it for 20 bucks. Still at 34. That's not bad. That's not bad. You're not that bad on that one. Yeah, you'll feel it. If you've been going and killing minimal, you'll feel the difference by killing a little bit more. It will take more time. You know, a lot of people want to get through these floors faster. I get it, dude. But dying also sucks. Like, it also sucks, though. You know? Oh, that's a treasure room. Okay, hold on. I'm going to do a safety, and we're going to do a fortune. And so what we're going to do here is we're going to actually go in another direction, and we're going to pull into the treasure room. We'll do a mass pull. More than likely, too, we will do a witching to get that whole room. Now, I did a fortune because we have a lot of enemies, okay? And this will be really helpful in terms of our level. That's the exit, too. I'm gonna pop a sustaining potion here, keep my HP up. Also, what's really nice, which I kind of forgot to do, is we can reassemble Spread Shot. So reassemble Spread Shot is very powerful, let me tell you. So you see, these guys are doing a lot of stop and go. They're not really doing too much damage to me. That's by design. I mean, it looks kind of creepy. It's like a little bit of a horror movie, right? We're just running away from things. There's just a chest dropped over there. Oh, let me just kill this. Okay, we'll open, flight. Oh, I'm actually not going to use the flight. So what a flight does is it reduces the enemies to the next floor. But we actually want more enemies because we're going to kill a lot. So it's actually not a good thing to have that running right now. Here, here, here. Okay. Okay, we're getting the big pull. Alright, so we're gonna kind of get these guys a little bit together here. I'm gonna make sure I get a fresh potion up. Also, we'll do arms length, because arms length, if you do not know, gives enemies the slow. I'm gonna reassemble, and then we're going to spread shot. So we get the direct hit spread shot on all these enemies. We'll just run around the circle, kill them all. And again, we have fortune, so we're getting a lot of potential chests here, and a lot of XP because we have extra kills here. Now again, if you're a little bit low on the sustaining potions, fight them one at a time. But even when you're running away, you can probably still keep your HP up. And steals are going to be very useful for that. I gotta wait for my HP here. Imagine the amount of people going for the title for the glam with the new gen. If it uses this scythe, yeah. Holding. I need full HP. Alright, that's good. So if I had opened the chest earlier with the lower HP, this run would be over. So I needed to make sure my HP was back up until we opened the thing. Again, you can also just not open them, which I don't blame you. You know, it was said earlier, like, why are you opening silver chests? You know, they're only giving you whatever. That's fine. I'm opening them because they do kind of help on the scoring. It's also a habit that I've already created, so I'm used to opening them. But by all means, don't go and open them if you don't want to run that risk. You don't have to. So, there's a chest I missed. What is this chest? Oh, this was a flight. Okay, we're going back. How many sustaining potions do you generally need for a full run of Machinist? I would recommend maybe having about 500. If you're starting from 1 and climbing up, I would recommend about 500. More than likely you won't run out by the time you get to the top. I always start with 900 because 900 basically means I will never run out. I've never run out with 900. You know, you can just set it to that number and you can go in on a climb and you can at least guarantee that you will not run out. And that's a comforting feeling for any run. 500, you might have to be a little concerned if you start getting to the higher floors because you may have to go back out and refresh some potions if you get a little bit low, depending on how much you use them. So you have to keep that one in mind. So 500 is like assuming that you picked up a couple potions on the run, which you will. I mean, you get the 2 guaranteed from 50 and 100. You probably get a lot getting into the higher floors. So, but you have to also remember to kind of go back out and go in. Like the reason I run with 900 is because I had put myself in a bad situation where I told myself after a set of floors, okay, we're gonna go back outside and we're gonna refresh the potions because I need them because I'm low. Instead, I go right back in. And then once I enter, I look at my potions, I'm like, oh, I forgot. And we were like really low on potions going into like a harder floor. Ever since I did that twice, by the way. Ever since I did that, I never go in without 900, period. If I have less than 900, I am very concerned. When I start a run, by the way. So, it just keeps my mind at ease. I don't ever have to remember to do it, you know what I mean? So, that's me being a little paranoid. Why do you get a little paranoid with this place? This place will teach you to be a little paranoid, you know? Just saying. Alright, so now you're gonna see I'm just gonna be killing kind of little by little now. You know, we'll go chill. So you get a little bit of 2 versions here. We did the big pulls earlier just to showcase what Machinists can do. We'll kind of go a little chill here in terms of pulls. We're gonna actually keep that flight again in the stock so we can get more enemies. Witchy! This is the place where paranoia plays off if anything. Pays off if anything, yes. Witchy, by the way, one of the early Necromancer lone heroes. Yes, paranoia is very useful. You might... You know what's the best perspective I can give you guys? So anyone who has done solo runs, even if you didn't clear, you've done a good enough... You've done a couple, maybe 100 hours in, you've had a number of attempts, maybe like 10 plus attempts, right? So if any of you have ever gone back into Deep Dungeon with a party, like maybe you take some friends in, you know, you go in a duo, trio, and a party, it always makes me laugh because I think every single deep dungeon runner can relate to this. You sound like the crazy person, right? Maybe they rely on you. It's like, okay, I've soloed this place, I know some information, right? You sound like a fucking crazy person because you're like, yo, make sure you walk on the walls. You watch out for this enemy because this could do it in rage. You know, be careful over here. Cause, like, you start talking like a crazy person, and every time you go through the floors, everything gets obliterated because you know you're 4 people. Everything's gonna die before anything gets dangerous. So it gets really funky, but you still sound like a crazy person. But it's with good reason, because you are conditioned to try to stay alive, you know? It's fine, it's just... that's what I think, like, other people are thinking of me, like I'm crazy. Like, wait, that wasn't a problem, we killed it really fast, you know? It's like you go over, like, the 190 boss, it's like, hey, this thing's gonna do a tank buster, there's gonna be some ads we gotta kill, we gotta make sure this bomb is underneath this boss, and you kill it in, like, 2 rotations, because you have 4 people, it's like, yeah. I love it, dude. I love it. I run the opposite direction of your team. Oh, I did that. There was one time I ran with a team, and my team, it was Heaven on High. They stepped on a luring trap, and they spawned like 2 worms, and the worms enraged. And I was like 2 rooms away, and I saw what spawned, because it shows in the aggro list. And I'm like, in my head, I didn't say this out loud, but in my head, I'm like, I'm gonna stay right here, because they're gonna enrage. And I let them die, and then I raised them after, because I knew what was gonna happen. If I go over there, I'm gonna die, so I'm just gonna stay over here and wait for them to die, and then I'll just pick up the pieces. Okay, Aliqua said, so if you're going for score, do your flight right before boss so you can open flight? Yes! So Aliqua, what I would prefer to do if we are going for score is I will dump the flights either on the 9th floor, or the boss floor, or before I exit. So you'd want to empty out the flights, and then just get them back in. Because again, you want more enemies to kill, because the more enemies you kill, the higher your score. So if you flight, you're gonna have less enemies to kill, therefore lowering your score. So yeah, you'd want to dump the flights where it doesn't take effect onto the next floor. So for the boss floor, or on the boss floor. Yes. Strength. I'm totally paranoid when I do this in a group now. Yeah, I bet you a lot of guys, and I feel this way too, whenever I run in a group, even in a match party, and I see people running down the middle of the room, I cringe. You know, they're just diving down the middle. I cringe, dude. I'm like, you're gonna step on a trap, man. You're gonna die. Just made it back to... Wow, let's go, Quad. Good job, dude. In my first solo attempt, I killed a 180 boss with 30 seconds left. You're so scared to go into 181? You know, a lot of people do say that. Sorry, it's gonna be pixelated again. I apologize, guys. Connection's going a little funky. A lot of people get scared with the higher floors. But the only way you're gonna find out if you can do it is just to go in. So just dedicate some time, man, and go right in. So don't worry about it. Ah, yes, my connection. Here I thought we'd be okay. But the weather has been really crappy. We've had some pretty bad weather here, so it is what it is. So hopefully it will... But you guys can hear me, so hopefully that's okay. You guys can hear me. What time? It's at an odd time. But it's just kind of hopping in and out, so... First attempt, and clear Behemoth. Oh, that sounds nice. I remember in Heaven on High after floor 50, I told them to stick together, and one of them kept running off and on their own and died. Well, at least you're proving your point, right? Stick together or stay alive. So it's like Bunny. That sounds like a horror movie, right? Like most horror movies, whenever that one person breaks off from the group, they end up dead. That sounds like a horror movie. I followed a guide. It died twice to Sasquatch Vuln stacks, but I got 2 reasons to replace them. Nice, me Duffy. Once everyone 79 scares you more than any floor set because of Anzus. Anzus are terrifying. But Anzus, at least they're sights. You know, that's a plus side. At least they're sights. So you can kind of get away with them, but it doesn't make them any easier, you know? Me heal. I remember when I was doing 11 to 12, 11 to 20 matched back at the NFN sword, and my 3 allies failed to kill a slime in a room away, and it went boom and I raised them all. That's a slime for you. I'm surprised the slime didn't kill you. You must have been really far. It's okay. I may know where that one is going. Andrews are nasty. Angelus are nasty indeed. You didn't even try to fan Angelus. Yeah. No, they're not fun, me Duffy. I don't even think I'll demonstrate on my end. Like, I'd want to. But Angelus are very dangerous. We will probably fight one if we have to. But more times than not, I will be avoiding them at all costs. Because they are like, Angelus, no matter how you slice it, they waste time. Because they stun you. So even if you can, like, flex that you can kill them, like, oh, I can kill an Anzu, they're not that bad, it doesn't matter because it's taking longer than killing anything else. Like, anything else you can pull will take a shorter amount of time than dealing with Anzu. So it's just better that you decide to fight an Anzu, fight something else, so. With Machinist, I feel... I'm actually gonna kill this one. With Machinist, I feel like your only fears are constant casters and mobs that are... Yes. Yeah, casters will be a bit of an issue, for sure. There are a couple casters that we will encounter in the higher floors that are very spooky if you deal with, so... Can those adventure-type mob sets... Yes, they can show up anywhere, with the exception of a boss Silver Shiva. They are very random and very rare. But yeah, we just saw another one. I forgot to do something I was going to mention the other one, so we'll see if we run into another one. But they can show up on any floor. Now, you will probably see only one per floor. I don't think I've ever seen multiple special enemies, but you can see them on any floor at any time. So on and so forth. So. And again, they are equivalent difficulty to a Mimic. So however you imagine a Mimic dealing damage, that's about what they'll do. But in the higher floors, they are even more dangerous. Because the difference between them and a Mimic is a Mimic will at least stop and do abilities. Those guys will not stop and do abilities. And you can't witching them. But I want to try to demonstrate that you can witching that. I mean, you may not believe me until you see it. So if we see another one, I'll try a witching and you'll see it for yourself. You've seen a whole room of special enemies? Really? Left bicep. Here's my perspective on Machinist in Heaven on High versus Palace. So I said earlier that Palace of the Dead, hold on, I put Machinist in first place, followed very closely by Red Mage, followed very closely by Ninja. So for Machinist, Red Mage, Ninja. For me in Heaven on High, it flips. It is Red Mage top tier, then Machinist, then Ninja. Now the reason why I consider Machinist above Red Mage, personally speaking, I'm going to stress that, personally speaking, the reason I put Machinist above Red Mage in Palace is because I can do things in Palace on Machinist that I cannot do on Red Mage. There are enemies that I can deal with no steel, way easier, and even period, that I can't do on Red Mage, period. I just can't do it on Red Mage. Well, you can, but it's too risky. Now, why it flips in Heaven on High, it's a simple fact of the enemies hit way harder. So, because the enemies hit way harder, you have a much higher risk of just getting deleted on Machinist if things go wrong. Like if you just incorrectly kite. Also, by the way, the kiting area is not as big in Palace. Palace, once you get to the higher floors, you have a lot of room, where you don't have as much room in Heaven on High. If you get into a bad running pattern, you run out of places to kite, Machinist gets very squishy. Red Mage though, you have Vercure, and you can save yourself, even with a bad kiting situation. You can manage a couple enemies a little bit more comfortably than if a Machinist goes wrong. But a Machinist is still very powerful, no matter how you know, even with those kind of downfalls, it's still very powerful. And again, that's another job I would love to retake back in Heaven on High. If anyone is like, hey, can you do Machinist again? Like, yeah, of course. I love Machinist, so that's the only reason. You got your Necromancer title with... You got Necromancer title? Oh yeah, that's right. You gotta look for it, man. It's in the special achievement area. No problem with Bicep. Oh, that makes sense, you know? Well, that made sense to you. But like I said, my Red Mage, I'm very comfortable with Red Mage. So I'll play Red Mage very, very well, because I put a lot of practice into it. I think a lot of people will probably put Machinist over Red Mage easily. because, you know, you can kite, you don't take damage, so on and so forth, but I can do things that are very nice on red mage that I'm comfortable with. Like, a lot of people will literally say, like, I don't like the Ver curing on red mage. Like, that's fine, you know, that's the one thing that's very important for red mage. But I kind of like the weaving and the optimizing of the Ver cure. Like, that to me is fun. So I enjoy it a lot. Like, I don't actually find that a problem, you know? It's just, like, I just see it as part of the job. Like, you want to play red mage, you have to Ver cure. That just is what it is. But you can do your survivability is really good, so. Death of Flames? Which is Death of Flames? Which is Death of Flames? I've seen that title, I don't know where it's from. Alright, so nothing, again, too threatening in here. I think I probably fought an owl already, which does a sleep, but we're just mowing down things right now. I am at 3 alterations. I do recommend that you do use these alterations. I know alterations have a risk of mimics, etc., but here's one thing to keep in mind. Mimics and Corrigans have actually an increased amount of experience points, because they are higher level. So there is a benefit at getting them, either one of them, because your XP will come back. You'll get even more XP because they're around. Mimics can be handled easily by Machinists because we can stop and interrupt their pots. So that's why it's also good to kind of get them out. So don't be afraid of alterations. Especially in Palace, don't be afraid of alterations. Mimics will not be very threatening to you, provided that you kite a lot, okay? So don't look at alterations and be scared. A lot of people look at alterations and they're like, yeah, I'm not going to use it because I don't want mimics. Hey, look, there's going to be a benefit to them, so... I gotta see if my counter is ready. I don't think I set my counter up. Hold on, mouse, wake up. Oh, okay, that's fine. Where's my box? Counter. Oh, I didn't start my counter, okay. So we haven't seen any mimics yet. Okay, so now I have my counter going, so we'll keep track of how many mimics we get through this entire run. Pyromancer. Oh, is that the title? Oh. I never put on those titles, sorry. Oh, speaking, that's okay, I already did it. No problem. I never put on that title. I forgot that actually had a title thing. 1.52 a bust? This is not that run, Zyron. We are not going for score today, my friend. What's up, Zyron? Zyron, one of the top score runners on Aether. We got Corrigan, so we'll get the bonus XP. Look at the amount of XP, by the way. Check this out. So a lot of the enemies we've been getting, we got 7,000, 8,000. Look at the Corrigan, 16,000 times 2. Can you see that? 16,000 XP from the Corrigans, from the Mandies, and then we get a Mimic, and you'll see how much XP this gets. So watch, this thing will do Infatuation. Okay, if it gets it off, we'll do Infatuation, but we have something called Head Graze. And Head Graze can stop the pox. Infatuation, Head Graze interrupted, we will never see that pox. And unless you're chaining mimics together, you won't see pox. My bot is slow. Also, we are hopping around. I think my... Hold on. It's not going on. One sec with the bot. Sorry about that. Man, I'm having like technical difficulties here. So where's the hotkeys? Yeah, increase, decrease. Huh. Apparently my bot is not responding to me. Well, I hit the button and nothing happened. Oh well. I guess we're not keeping track of mimics. Okay, well that's fun. I'm going to strength here, so we can try to carry it into the boss. And again, we're gonna kill everything, so everything is gonna die here. Dead. I wish you can get the run. I wish you can get the title if you started at 50. We cut out the most boring floors. I guess, but you know what? The challenge is to do it all, right? Like, you want to do it all. That's the challenge, so... I don't know, I like it like that. Now, I mean, if you're progging several turtles, you know, you don't have to start from one. Yeah, you don't have to start from one if you're frogging. You know, you can start at 51, and then when you feel like you're ready for clear, then you can start at 1. But yeah, you gotta do it. Once you have to out the Pox the Mimic, you'll never cast again. So what's fun about the interrupts, and I don't know if this was just coincidence or whatever. The Infatuation is on a 30-second cycle, and the recast of Headgraze is 30 seconds. So if you interrupt the first Infatuation, the moment your Headgraze is back on cooldown, right on target, right on time, it will use Infatuation again. So you can be right on a perfect time for that Infatuation. So in essence, you shouldn't get poxed, but you just have to make sure you don't miss that window. But it is rather convenient that it is a 30-second difference. Or keep track of the movies in the heart. Yeah, I actually don't know why that's broken, and I'm not about to fix it, so we'll just have to leave it alone. I can probably manually do it, but it'll be annoying, so my keybinds aren't working. I don't know, we're having some... I gotta watch out for that, guys. Thursday I'll make sure that I don't do that shenanigans. Because we've been having a little bit of weirdness in terms of my OBS right now, and I think it's because I did it myself, that's all. So I apologize for that. Yes. So on the higher floors, you know, when we get to the higher floors, you'll see that more in action, B-Shadow. Because the enemy's gonna live that long, so you'll see it. You think the snake toad thing on floors 11 to 20 is BS? I don't know why that's there. It's a very specific thing. It's a very specific thing, Tomberry. I don't even know where it came from. People have told me it's like, oh, it's that's just what nature is. Like, okay, that's fine what nature is, but like, why is it in this game? Like, why is that an interaction, dude? But it is what it is. So it's just one of those things. You know it exists, and you just gotta manage for it. That's all. So if you observe, I just hit level 50. So our level is actually way higher than the boss. The boss in here, by the way, is 49. So you're gonna see the boss is gonna be pretty easy, in terms of having to deal with it, because we are of a higher level. We might actually get to 51 on this one. So it's from the older FF titles. I think so, Sky. Also, good to see you, Sky. It's just still, it's a rather obscure thing to kind of put in, right? Like, I don't even know. I remember asking this before, like, I don't even think anywhere else in this game you're dealing with that scenario. I don't think so. Like, the one that comes into mind right now is Circus Tower, right? When you get to the third boss, you're dealing with the clown boss. You have the scenario, the part of the fight where you have toads and you have cobras and all that stuff. But the cobras don't one-shot you, like they one-shot you here, so. Strength, good. Oh, I'm actually not gonna get the speed run because I'm gonna go really slow, but it's okay. I'm not too worried about that. We're not here for score. So I mentioned the speed run. In terms of scoring, there is a criteria where if you do a set of 30 floors in under 30 minutes, so right now we are at 32 minutes. If I were to do this in under 30 minutes, I will get a pretty big bonus point. It sounds weird. It sounds like, really? Like, it is true. And it's been figured out, people have mapped it out, people have like kind of done the research on that front. You do get bonus points for doing it under 30. So that's why I mentioned this 30-minute bonus, because we may not get it today, but it's not a big deal in my run. Again, we're just focusing on the clear right now, so someone make them stop. That's why I put full respect to Cobras when I see them both on 11 and both on 111, so. You just want to clear, points can come after torturing yourself. Yep, that's how I feel about it, Tonbrain. Exactly, the points can come later, man. Going for points is very stressful, let me tell you. It is stressful as heck. You will feel like your run is so different when you're trying to go for points. I'm gonna get Steel up, by the way, after this Lust comes off. I should have Steeled already, but Steel will make this a little bit more comfortable. Okay, here. Oh, I should mention something which I did not mention before, which will be very important. Let me just get this off. 1, 2. I like to count my Heat Blast to make sure I get 5, 3, 4. Got 5 off in the thing. Good. Gonna second one here. Now 4 puddles, we go to the middle. So there's 4 puddles on the ground, we go to the middle after the ice one. It'll do Fear itself. Fear itself is almost a raid wide, except the safe spot is down the middle. So if you're in its hitbox, you'll be fine. See that amount, that area of that animation? There you go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nailed it. HP is getting a little low, but that's okay. We can use a potion, which I will try to weave in after DCD. We'll do the super potion, because I don't need that much. Yeah, we got the speed in. Nice. Nice. Okay, cool. There you go. Okay, one important thing. If you saw me, I used the lust. I don't think I did this on... No, I think I did it on the 20 balls. So I did this here. You saw what I did was, I used the lust. I got to 5 stacks, and then I dropped lust. I have a button on my hotbar, this one right here, it's a macro. The macro is this. Here. So this macro, 6 right here, the X macro, you can use any symbol, I just did a symbol, whatever symbol. But this is what this is, status of transfiguration. So if you do not have that on the bar, that might be very useful to you. Because this allows me to drop lust at any point that I want to. So you don't have to... So normally what you do is you click it off the bar. If you use lust, you click it off the bar so you can get rid of it. Some people don't even know you can get rid of it, so you can get rid of it. You can drop it early, that's how you drop it early. But this button is going to be very useful because you don't have to worry about it. You put it on your bar, you hit that button, you're out of the transformation. So this could also be very good for controller players, if you have a controller. Very good option here, because it'll be very complicated for you to take off that thing in other means. So this is a very good macro, so keep that one in mind.